You're on there. Good afternoon, dear friends. It's very pleasant for me to welcome you here at the Danish Institute of Culture, the Central Mayakovsky City Library, to discuss the questions of the Green Agenda. I have we really have little time, so I would like to briefly remind you that a lot of participants are watching us on the YouTube, and there is possibility to listen to us in the English and Russian language. There is simultaneous translation, and I think all of you have solved the technical task and have found the language for work. My name is Svetlana Gorokhova. I'm the scientific secretary of Mayakovsky Library, a Russian Library Association board member and the head of the international section of that association. Today, we are going to work quite simply. Now we're going to invite for the welcome address the heads and co-organizers of this meeting, the head of the Danish Cultural Institute in St. Petersburg and director of Mayakovsky Central City Public Library. It's with great pleasure that I give the floor to Henriette Borg, Reinholdt, the director of the Danish Cultural Institute in St. Petersburg. Henriette, please, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Svetlana. And good afternoon, everyone. And welcome both to partners on Zoom and participants out in the open internet space. I have to say that I'm extremely happy that Danish Cultural Institute is part of this joint Nordic-Russian project on green libraries, as it gives an important opportunity to share experiences and ideas over borders on how libraries can not just be classical libraries where you loan a book, but also become community centers that take upon them the role of enlightening and engaging citizens in important topics of our lives and societies. Libraries play such an important role as the place in local communities where people meet, discuss, learn and exchange. And climate and climate change and green topics in general are areas that concern all of us, no matter which country or city we are from, what work we do, what we study, or what political point of view we take for that matter. Climate and sustainable development really concerns all of us, and we all need to take a role and contribute with solutions. And libraries are key here because they open their doors to all of us and can really be front runners for a greener and more sustainable society where citizens take an active role. So today's webinar will be focusing on so-called green literature. A second webinar is to follow in March on green organization. What sort of eco-friendly solutions can the libraries introduce in their own daily lives and functions as institutions? And a third webinar on green community, how the libraries organize eco events for different age groups and cooperate with local eco initiatives, which is planned for early April. And finally, a workshop will be arranged for early summer on reuse design for children and grown-ups. For today's webinar on green literature, I'm happy that we have with us presenters and specialists from both Russia and Sweden. From Russia, we have with us Liubov Petrova, head of the sector of educational projects of the OKHTA Library Center, which is, I understand, a part of the Mayakovsky Library. Thank you for being here today. And from Sweden, we have Evelina, Estefors, and Mia Dimblad from the Library of Hässleholm. Thank you so much for joining us as well. I sincerely hope that we will have active participation from the audience as well. So feel free to comment and give your questions, if any. And finally, special thanks to the Mayakovsky Library for co-hosting this webinar. Thanks to Svetlana Anatolievna for co-organizing and for moderating today's session. And a big thank you to Zoya Vasilievna for this valuable cooperation and support. Вам большое спасибо. That's all for me.
Dear Henriette, thank you very much. Thank you for using such wonderful Russian language. It's very pleasant for us always. We are also glad that we cooperate with your organization in this important project. And now I would like to give the floor to Zoya Vasilievna Chalova, Director of City Public Library, named after Mayakovsky, a president of St. Petersburg Library Society. Please, Zoya Vasilievna. Zoya Vasilievna, please switch on your microphone. Can you hear me? Yes. I have started with a great feeling of gratitude for inviting us. I was invited by as a co-organizer of that first webinar in St. Petersburg. The first collections under this project were quite new for Russia and for St. Petersburg. And when Svetlana Gorokhova proposed us to participate in this project with the Danish Institute of Culture and with the Nordic Culture Fund, I was very glad because the libraries cannot be aside from this important problem that is facing the whole globe. People become concerned about the planet and their life and the environment and how our great children and great children would live, and what should I do to make my planet more alive? And the libraries cannot keep aside from that problem. Previously, they were kept aside, and that is not correct because libraries are a social institution. They are serving the people. The people come with their concerns, with their problems to the libraries, and our task and our mission is to help them solving the problems. More and more young people are very much concerned with the problem of environmental protection, and that youthful trend should also be taken into account, and we have to participate in resolving the problems that are facing them. And gradually, the Russian libraries are placing more and more attention to that theme. They try to find different methods and techniques so that they could communicate with the people, and each person can make a certain small contribution to our planet, to the benefit of our planet. At Mayakovsky Library, we have a methodological center, and everything that we are doing, we would like to be used by the whole of the city, so people would take part in it. We make the people aware about different trends happening in the world, and our today's webinar is highly important for the people, for the employees of the library, and for all the libraries of St. Petersburg that are quite numerous. We have 200 libraries in St. Petersburg, which are ready at present to take part in this theme and to solve this problem. I wish the participants of the webinar successful work. I think that we're going to have interesting meetings, and each of us can really do something in this life so that our planet would become cleaner. So we'll pay attention to our planet. We have to love our planet because we live on our planet. We have to to love and to respect the planet for that possibility to live on the planet. Be healthy, please. Thank you very much, Zoya Vasilievna, for that good remarks, for your support. I think that you have led us to the main thing that we're going to discuss today. If we're speaking only about ecology, libraries are participating in enlightenment work and provided the information, and the notion of the green agenda at present has been expanded, and there were some special lectures delivered since the document on sustainable development of UN was published by UN. It was formed in the English language. There is a certain linguistic game, because if we're using the English language, a green agenda is just a mini sustainable agenda. And quite often these trends are coming together, not only ecology and supporting the diversity in our life, that is also responsible attitude to resources, energy resources, tangible, intangible, sharing with each other, supporting the people who don't have that amount of resources as we do. That is the work with communities in terms of the good use of uh, uh, recyclable materials or remains of the food. So there is a whole range of ethical problems which the library can develop and have such a dialogue. But since as a core of any library, the core is related to some material things, I'm not speaking about the activities of the library. The main thing is are the collections and the information resources, and our first webinar will be dedicated to creation and formation of the notions of the readers and promotion of some green literature, green collection. The work will be quite simple. We're going to have two presentations, one from Russia and another from Sweden. We have 10 minutes for presentation and 10 minutes for Q&A session. And the same scheme will be for our Swedish colleagues. And I hope that we'll have some time to sum up the results of this session. I would like to thank our just hosts and our supporters. Let us now invite Liubov Mikhailovna Petrova, who is head of the sector of educational projects of OKHTA Library Center of Mayakovsky Library. That is a wonderful space, but I think that Liubov will discuss it herself. And I really would like to tell you that they are unusually located and their activities are a bit unusual. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the introduction. And we're very grateful for the possibility to make a presentation, because in fact we are at the very beginning on our way to forming the collections dealing with ecology and responsible consumption and ethical attitude to nature and resources. And it is very important for us to discuss our work and to get some piece of advice. The space of our library is quite small. We are in the public space lines on the invitation of the commercial institution, and on 200 square meters we have only 2,500 books. Having such a small collection, we cannot present all the sections of the library, but on suggestion of the public space lines that has invited us, we are dealing with urbanism, design and architecture, and naturally dealing with the theme of urbanistics, buying the books on the theme of urbanism and organization of comfortable lives in the city is impossible without planting the greenery in the city, without touching on the theme of ecology, because a comfortable city should not have a poor ecology. And I have a slide with a well-known book, 100 Advices to the Mayor, published by Ilya Varlamov, the urbanist of the entire Russia, and the person who is speaking a lot about the cities and urban problems for the audience. That is not the only book in our collection. That is just an example showing how the books got into our collection. Probably I will make a reservation that half a year ago, especially, we didn't collect any books designing with ecology or green agenda, but as to the urbanism, we have got some books dealing to the planting of greenery and city ecology. In the design section, we always had some books dedicated to environmentally friendly furniture and making furniture from waste materials or environmentally friendly materials. We're often receiving children's books concerning the theme of ecology. But generally, we are an image venue and we have to follow the trends. And following the trend gradually, we are absorbed into the theme of ecology. Probably it would be reasonable to dwell on how we are forming our collections and our stocks of books. We follow the book bloggers, independent bookstores, and network shops. We are analyzing what is at the top of sales in the network stores. We read the statements of the bloggers, and in book reviews, we often can see the books on the theme zero waste, responsible consumption, responsible attitude to ecology. First, we didn't think that this is an environmental theme. We considered the theme of responsible consumption mostly as a part of the new ethics. And since a new ethics is interesting to the young citizens, and that theme attracts our audience. So we collected the books, ordered the books concerning zero waste and different other books. Undoubtedly, we take into account the portfolio of the publishing houses as to what is published by the well-known and good publishing houses. For instance, Bamboro Publishing House, Mayakovsky publisher. We know that these are successful publishing house, and they take account of the into the selection of books and themes. And if we could find some new books concerning responsible consumption and ecology, we ordered such books. Thus, generally, in a despite of our will, we have got a collection dedicated to the green theme, ecology and responsible consumption. We could say that that was done conscientiously due to certain actions, but for the first time we have realized that we had a very good large collection. During the festival on urbanism in May, we organized together with the Public Space Alliance the festival on the greenery in the city, in addition to lectures and master classes and swapping the plants. We organized a selection of books, and you can see the books which we just put on the table so that the participants of the festival could get acquainted with these books. Probably we have to note that a very important landmark in understanding the ecological agenda were the weeks of Nordic countries in St. Petersburg. And it happened so that we have long been cooperating with the Swedish consulate in the public space lies. Most of the events of the weeks of the Nordic states were held in St. Petersburg. Part of the events were held in the premises of the library. There were presentations of books and public discussions. And so we have seen how the ecological agenda has become an important trend and has become our tradition, and we communicated with different people and we became absorbed into this theme. For us, the weeks of the Nordic states showed that there are books of the Russian authors concerning the environmentally friendly way of life and the ecological agenda. This is a book of the on the garbage that is not evacuated by Anna Titova, and we have formed the list of books that are ordering on the theme of ecology and responsible consumption. In the autumn, we had a festival of urbanism. We discussed the theme of the public management, city management, participatory designing, and tactical urbanism. And the last final discussion, public discussion during that festival was the event dealing to ecology. That's how it looked. There were speakers who were discussing how a simple citizen can make his contribution to improvement of the ecology of the big city. For instance, we are collecting the garbage or waste, or you give away old belongings by social networks to people who need them, not throwing these belongings items away. And each event is accompanied by a book exhibition. It is important then the books that we have selected or purchased would be taken out by the people, and that really works. And the books on that theme are quite often lent out at our library. Thus, summing up the first part of my presentation, we're really at the very beginning on the way to formation of green collections, and the first books which we have purchased were purchased following the trends and the fashion, and not following some recognized policy or strategy. Nevertheless, we have formed a rather big collection. We have several dozens of books, probably less than 100, but they're approaching 100 because the stock of books is 2,500 books, and that is a significant amount. And now we place special emphasis on completion of the books, and that theme we have already formed the lists for procurement for purchasing the books, and we hope that we'll receive a lot of books, including the books by the Russian authors in the first half of the year. And the books of the Russian authors are particularly important and valuable for us because they take into account our local realities, how we can start the environmentally friendly way of life to have environmental habits here in Russia. The second part of my presentation will concern the promotion of the fund and promotion of the ideas of environmental and ecological model life. We have active social networks, and social network of contacts is the main venue for us for communicating with our readers. And periodically we are publishing selection of books because the library is also the place where they recommend the books, where the people are asking, what else can I read on this theme? And periodically we organize such selections of books with photos of the books. We're taking pictures of the books on different provocative backgrounds to draw the attention to our books, and we tell the people about these publications. We are living an active Instagram life. Of course, social networks follow their own laws, and telling about the books, about ecology and ethical attitude, about recognized consumption, and we do it so that that will be advertising on that venue. We find some partnership networks, for instance, stories. That tag was noted. The shop Spasibo, the first Russian second-hand store that received the second-hand clothes from the people, and they give these clothes out to the people who need them, and the old clothes are also recycled, and the system is financed by the money that was received from the selling the second-hand clothes. And against the background of that container, we have taken a picture of the book, thank you, with the tag Spasibo shop, and we have received a big audience, a big new audience, and they will know that in the library lines you can read the book Zero Waste about responsible attitude to acquisition of clothes. There are other stories as well where we know different hashtags, where we ask some questions to draw the attention of the audience to our books and to our work. This is our book Instagram. Of course, we discuss not only the ecological themes, so we promote our entire collection of books and stock of books. We also have some other publications about the books on responsible consumption and responsible attitude to ecology. Probably that is the end of my presentation. Subscribe to us in the social networks in Instagram, live line libraries and the contact lines libraries, and come to our library alliance. Thank you very much for attention. Thank you very much for your attention. Liubov is not quite healthy, but that she just overcame the temporary difficulties and joined us. We wish you good health, Liubov. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions and comments? I hope they will follow. Please, dear friends, do we have any questions or comments to this presentation? Let me start, and you just think. What are the plans or more clear information of the collection? Do you have such plans? Probably you will establish contacts with some interlibrary structures to outline certain trends. What are your plans? And the second question, have you thought about inclusion of very interesting documents or UN documents? But there is a guide on saving the world. That is a wonderful thing. My apologies for my voice. I am not quite healthy. We're not planning to become the green library that we're going to have. The ecological theme would become our main theme. We're going to deal with the books on the green agenda under the theme urbanism, because of course the city with poor ecology and with poor green zones is a not well organized city. So we'll dwell on urbanism, we'll focus on urbanism, and we'll collect the green collections. And our plans are to purchase more books by the local authors. When I have shown the books on the slides, the books in our store, these are mainly the books that have been translated. These are very good Western publications on ecology and responsible consumption. These are the books that have become bestsellers in Europe. And of course, we are more interested in buying the books by the local authors who are that are becoming bestseller in us. For instance, the book by Anna Titova is on the list of express completion of that book. Hill didn't wear heels, how to develop different habits with you, environmentally friendly habits in Russia, in our local realities, because of course the main question is not that we're going to have a bad or poor ecology, but what each person can do that just starts from our daily life, how to sort the waste, how to do it without any fanatism, because the habits that are changing our mode of life or make our life non-comfortable are not easily adhered to. It is better to do it as it has already been done so that it will be convenient for the people. It is good that we have more communities and more authors who are ready to share their experience and their life hacks, how you can live environmentally friendly. We're forming this list, of course. We take into account the ideas of eco-bloggers and activists of the society. For us, there is no waste left. We're also always oriented on the sales, what is promoted by the bookstores and publishing houses. It is also well promoted by the libraries. I haven't answered all the questions, and of course, I think that it would be impossible to speak without ecology, without being environmentally friendly ourselves. And it seems to us that the ecological library should be green. There should be some plants. It is strange to just talk about ecology when you're surrounded by walls and by plastic. Of course, a green library is a library that is dealing with ecology. Probably it should have a reliable, responsible attitude. For instance, we're collecting checks and storage batteries. We do not receive them from the readers, but we are collecting our own checks and our own batteries, storage batteries, and we remove them to the recycling station. So you use disposal, just spoons or plates, or often just the readers bring tumblers. We are using them, but we use also plastic glasses or plastic cups together with our coolers. And we are going to use the motto saying that it's better to use your tumbler than a plastic cup. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. I think as to urbanism, the green agenda will be implemented by 100%, and we wish you further development, and we hope that our next webinars, when we're going to discuss green spaces in the libraries, internal regulations of all the rules, webinar on the work with local initiatives, are also about you. And I know that you are working with a lot of communities, and I hope you'll be able to participate in it. If there are no further questions to Liubov, then we can start to the second presentation from our Swedish guests, representatives by Hässleholm Public Libraries, that is Evelina, Estefors, and Dimblad. I understand that our guests are going to discuss their work with children, their work with adults, and it's with great pleasure that we'll listen to the working experience of our wonderful colleagues, please.
Thank you. Do you hear me? Yes? Okay. So my name is Evelina Estefors, and I work with the children's section in our library. Okay. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our green collection for children in our library. This section for children is quite newly reopened after a lot of changes in the room. And the theme for our children's section is now nature and railway. As you can see, do you see the picture? That Mia will show you.
Can we put it, how was it to Control L? Okay.
Okay. Is it okay? Can you see it there?
Det ser bra ut.
Det ser bra ut.
Ja.
Okay. And as you can see here are some pictures from our children's section. We have a very big green bookshelf. And here you can see it's really twice as big as you can see here. And we have designed it ourselves. And we wanted it to look like a big green wave or a dragon or like a dinosaur. And this green color, we wanted our visitors to feel like, to have a feeling like the beach forest in springtime, and that it will really catch the eyes of our visitors. So in this really big green shelf, we have our green collection of children's books. And it's about recycling crafts, nature, health, environment, climate, how to grow flowers and vegetables, about food, and yeah, a lot more. And in this shelf, we also have green flexible boxes where we can display our books. And I have a box here. I will see if you can see it. Okay. So we also use these ones to display our books on different themes. And we also have another big shelf in the children's section, which you can see on the left, and it's shaped like a train. And we use this train with a locomotive and 2 carriages also to display our books. And here you can see books from our green collection as well. And this railway theme, we have this in the library because our city, Hässleholm, is a railway junction. So the city was built around the station. And you can also go by train to all our 6 branch libraries surrounding the city. And we can put away the picture.
Put away the picture. Stop sharing.
Okay. And our library arrange a lot of activities together with different organizations in our community, like the social services and the local culture school. And we also have an ongoing cooperation together with our local waste services. And we used to arrange swapping days. Let's see if I'm... Okay. With toys and clothes together with them. And we recently showed an exhibition where children had built and visualized different ways of taking care of waste material. And it was called the Waste Stairway. When our library was temporarily closed during COVID, we gave away compost bags with recycled crafting materials for children. And it was...
In front of your face.
Nu ses det. Lite högre upp.
Yeah. Okay, bags like this ones. And this material could be used while watching films on YouTube called Crafting at Home. And then afterwards you could use the bags for composting. And last summer, our library was opened again, but with some restrictions about the amount of visitors. And then we also gave away bags with crafting and recycled material to all children visiting us. And those bags also contained seeds and books about growing vegetables and flowers and some small cultivation tools. Like this. And seeds. And that was so very appreciated. We can still children are coming to us and said, oh, we like those bags, they were fantastic. So it was really fun. We had 700 of them that we gave away. And now when we are looking at the statistics for borrowed books for 2021, then we can see that the most borrowed books in our library, except for Pippi Longstocking, are the books about the beaver Castor. Do you recognize him? Yeah. And he is growing seeds or beans, just like we encouraged the children to do. So we feel like we have this response here. And among these most popular books are also Creative Karin, who is a very well-known recycling crafting person in Sweden, million Instagram. Like this. And she teaches children how to make seasonal decorations or gifts from waste material, like empty milk cartons or egg cartons or toilet rolls. And so she's very inspiring. And the children here in Hässleholm also borrows a lot of easy facts book about the climate, environment, plastic waste in the sea, food waste, and of course also about Greta Thunberg, our famous role model here in Sweden. And okay, so that was a little bit about the collection for children. And now Mia, my colleague, will tell us about the books for adults. Thank you.
Okay, about the adult. Can I be in, I have to start sharing screen here. Ska vi se här. Då ska vi se, då är det den som vi ska dela. So, okay. My name is Mia Dimblad and I'm working as a librarian on Hässleholm City Library. I work with fiction books and programming. And I'm also involved in different projects in the library. You can call it different activities, and we have a lot of projects ongoing. For example, we will remake also the adult area in the library this year. One project is to work with the Sustainable Development Goals, Agenda 2030. And the first thing, one thing we have done here is the shelf about environment, climate, and goal like this visible. Here we have the goals in the middle of the picture. And this is a work in progress, and it will be a different way to present the material later on. And also, it's important to have this in a visible place. And now we have a place where we're supposed in the future to have also programming just close to this place, but it's still under work. And we try to put the books and magazines together for reflection and knowledge, but also for facts and inspiration to do something yourself and take active part. And also there is a list of current releases, information about local actions and what's happening in the neighborhood. That's an important part that we will put to this. But you can also say that the role for the library to add facts and science is very important, just like Greta Thunberg always says about science, very important. But you can also ask yourself how much we have this, they talked about this, how the librarian themselves should be active in this process. Should we be activists? Should we ask for people to be activists? It's a question, but also that we, with these books, can maybe increase climate shame by our visitors, or all these excellent people make their good examples, or the doomsday dystopian literature, does that make people more anxious and afraid of even turn their back to the problem of the climate? That is the issue for the time, really. So that's a question, how we can work with that as a librarian. Yes, and also this about having actual so facts that are like the libraries, the newspaper and everything, that it's new information. Okay, we continue. And we also had this Hälsohörnan, the health corner. It's a health promoting project in the library where we are cooperation with the administration and with different associations in the local community to have activities and always promote books from different areas in the library about health and train and eat and things like that. And for this project, we have extra resources from the regional Department of Culture in Skåne. And we also had some lectures and activities. So this is also not just close to the other corner that we saw in the last picture. And to this you can also add in the agenda 2030, there is this about social sustainability. That's also very important. And in the library we have, in Sweden, we have this we call language cafe with Swedish for immigrant groups. And in this picture we see here, we have handicraft while working, they talk while they are working with their hands. And also that was a very popular when we had it a couple of times together with the language cafe. And also in the language cafe, we had information for this waste, about waste and how to how to work with the waste and put it back in the, okay. But that was also, and also we have this Nordic Swap Day together with the Swedish Society for Nature Conservation. So it's a national project, this Nordic Swap Day, when you change clothes. And also that, as Evelina told about, also with children's, with play. That's the same thing. And we also have different lectures in the library. So, and I will put to the next one. And we have a lot of activities during school holidays in the library. So that is also a way where you have this puzzle with crafting. Crafting with the renewable things. And we have also participate in major events in the Cultural House of Hässleholm, the library. So there we always promote different kinds. And I think this question is very, it's an important, and also I can say take part in different way in municipal and national context. For example, there is a big conference, national conference in Hässleholm this in May that just about, so for example, we will also front the material and the area in the library for everybody. So I think that's it. And I will also tell you, we were talking about the links to the future, and I have some links that is usable also for in English and also in Swedish. So it's also very important to have all these different levels of informations available in the library. And I hope this will be for this time, and we can, question is welcome.
Огромное спасибо, дорогие Эвелина.
Thank you very much, dear Evelyn.
Да, у нас... Так, почему-то я слышу теперь переводчика. Да, вот сейчас у нас да, есть вопрос от Аннет. Да, пожалуйста, Аннет.
Thank you. I will just say it in Swedish, that somebody wanted you to show the book about Castor again.
Oh.
Evelina. Castor. Sänk den lite så de ser författaren kanske också. Ja. Yes.
It's a Swedish author.
Yes, that was my point. Thank you.
Да, я как раз и собиралась это упомянуть, потому что просили показать книгу.
Svetlana, switch please to the Russian language. Can you hear me now? Yes, it's okay. That's to show the book on crafting and zero waste. I don't think that it is the right book, but in any case, there is a request for that. Dear colleagues, will you please switch off the screen demonstration? Thank you very much for your presentation. Dear colleagues, there are probably some questions concerning your work. Dear friends, do you have any questions to our colleagues? While you are thinking, I would like to thank you, dear colleagues, for mentioning the Sustainable Development Goals of UNO, probably this one, and probably you might also share the link to that book into the chat that our colleagues from the Children's Library could use it. The green agenda is only a small part of the Sustainable Development Goals, and mainly when we're speaking about a green agenda in English, we're speaking about the sustainable development that is related to the presentation of Liubov. Probably she's going to comment on it now. We're taking it more extensively than ecology. Of course, the preservation of the environment is one of the most important trends. Please, Liubov. Yes, I'm joining the question of the Central City Children's Library about children's books, not only about zero waste and the responsible consumption for the children, but concerning the English books for the children, because in the lines we have a bilingual collection of books. We have books in the Russian language, in the English language. They are on the shelves. And the children's books concerning green agenda, concerning ecology, which we have we received them just accidentally. We're looking at what is offered to us by the popular publishing houses, and if we had good editions with good illustrations, we bought them. But to form a good collection, we need to have a certain list. I know that not only we, but Children's Library often communicate with the publishing houses, with the publishers, forming the collections in the English language, and then taking into account our choice. The publishers are buying the rights to the books that they are translated and they are published in the Russian language, and we understand how important it is for the development of ecological consciousness, so that the people would read the books, including fiction, dealing with ecology and responsible consumption, not only because in future they will determine the ecological agenda, but often the children, according to my experience, are teaching their parents in responsible consumption. When the child has finished some master class on crafting from waste material, he will have some idea about sorting the waste to have an ethical attitude to nature. We'll be very grateful to you if you share the list of such good children's books on ecology with us. Thank you very much, Luba. I think that we have once again to stress that this question of forming the children's collection and how to work with children, what master classes will be organized. We're going to have a special event in summer when we'll invite all the people who are interested primarily in the work with children. So probably we'll wait till summer, though you shouldn't probably wait till summer if the colleagues can share their information. And that can be done by the Cultural Institute and Mayakovsky Library, who could become facilitator of these flows and useful references, useful links and life hacks and lists as to how the collection can be formed. I would also like to ask a question, the technical question. As far as I understand, you work with operators on waste removal and waste management in your city. Is it really the case? Is there such a partnership? How you arrange this partnership? Now we're thinking about it, how the libraries could cooperate with such organizations or public movements.
It was a question, right? No, we'll think about it next time. Yeah.
Okay, now you cannot ask the question. You can answer the question. Probably I was in a hurry. You mentioned that swapping days, the days of swapping toys and clothes. You mean that these are second-hand toys due to pandemic? Are there any restrictions concerning the processing of these toys, or have you suspended that swapping of toys during the pandemic?
Yeah, we are not able to do it now during. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Do you hear us? Yeah, we cannot do it during the pandemic, so we're waiting to start up again. So yeah.
Last year it was down, but maybe this year in April, May it's possible again. But so, it's a lot of places in Sweden this on the same day.
And we also have our waste services in Hässleholm. They are so good to cooperate with, just for short, because they are working very much towards children, and they have what they call waste monsters that eats the different waste material. And all children in Hässleholm knows about these monsters. So it's very nice and fun to work together around this.
Monsters.
Yeah. We will send you a link or a picture.
We will share the screen in 1 second. We look it up. Var är de jävla monstren någonstans? Var är de då?
Thank you very much. Now we're going to wait a minute. Please share the screen.
Yes, we are.
Dear friends.
Now, here it comes. Okay. You see it?
Okay. So these monsters are typical for Hässleholm and our waste service. And so all children knows about them. And as you said, Liubov, the children are teaching their parents about how to handle the waste. And put it at the right places, and which monsters who eats the right things, and so on.
This is a wonderful possibility to use it.
Yeah.
So this was also an award, a national award, where they environment that they won with these monsters.
So they are very creative at this waste services, and it's very fun to work together. We have a lot of contacts. And do a lot of things together.
Oj, vad många de var. So many. I haven't seen them all. Okay. Stop sharing.
I think that's wonderful. All these practices have a right to be used by all of us. I hope very much that the materials of our meetings will make it possible to create a certain response, and will borrow some practical ideas and practical instruments in order to work both with children and with adults in different trends. Once again, I would like to thank all of you with all my heart for your efforts, for having found the time to take part in this event, and that you have thought about such important things for ourselves, for our users, and I hope very much, and I would like to stress one thing more. If you look at, if you analyze some successful projects in both countries, we'll see that most successful are the projects when we are doing something, not doing something just for the reader, but when we are doing something jointly with the reader. As soon as the people, our readers of some communities, local communities, local groups of activists are doing something together with the library, of course, I think that such projects will be successful, and we'll have to remember about it. And Green Agenda of Sustainable Development, I think, is a scheme or a structure in which there are a lot of possibilities of doing something together with our communities. Of course, we're also moving to the theme of our third seminar on working with our communities, but it is clear because any successful library primarily exists for all the people whom it services, with whom it lives, and whom she is leading by its examples. Special thanks are given to Nina Lebedeva from the Danish Institute of Culture for the organization of this work. I would like to thank the technical assistant for creating this wonderful space in the Zoom for live communication. We have 1 minute before we part. Are there any urgent or burning topics? Please raise your hand or switch on your microphone. If there is nothing else, let us try to smile, all of us. Let us switch off the cameras to take an offline photo. Andrei will be, you'll be able to take a picture of the screen. That's wonderful. Good health to all of you. Libraries are a place that are going to overcome everything, and our readers will overcome all the difficulties. Goodbye. Follow our publication. See you next time at the next webinar.